who better, a decade plus at the DoD, now a couple of years, I think, over there, leading this fund. And who better to do that than you? I'm really excited about learning and understanding sort of where you are with this overall very important effort.
Yeah, well, good morning or good afternoon, Luke. Thank you very much for having me on the panel today. So at NTIA, I'm overseeing the Public Wireless Supply Chain Innovation Fund. This is a congressionally mandated initiative to try to drive open and interoperable wireless networks, trying to drive 5G towards open and interoperable wireless networks. We have a fairly significant amount of funding that we are trying to leverage to ensure that there is commercial adoption of these open and interoperable networks. So really trying to take a look at the big picture at NTIA to determine an overall strategy, right? So how could we leverage the amount of funding that we have to really try to drive an ecosystem or commercial ecosystem that has something that isn't broken, right? So 5G as it stands today largely works for the carriers.
Hmm.
We at the U.S. government are trying to drive supply chain resiliency, trying to inject potentially U.S. providers of equipment into the 5G architecture. So the thought is really trying to use the innovation funds to get after demonstrating the capability that open and interoperable can provide to the commercial ecosystem in hopes of driving that adoption. So, as we thought about the problem, while $1.5 billion is a significant amount of money,
Hmm.
to I think the commercial world, it's really somewhat insignificant, right? So, how can we be as strategic as we possibly can about shaping where those funds go? We've had a really good time, I think, at NTIA shaping that. And initially, we've gone out. Injecting money into what we call test and evaluation laboratories.
Hmm.
Um, and these laboratories are meant to be resources for the telecommunications ecosystem. So we've got three stood up, sort of a varying degrees of capability in each of the
Hmm.
laboratories. And the thought is companies that are new into this space, they might not be as big as a Nokia. They're smaller entities. They don't necessarily have the resources that some of those large companies do. So these laboratories are set up with our government funding where companies can go in and test their equipment. They can verify things like interoperability, performance, efficiency, security, and really be a resource. So we set these up with the thought that our government funding is standing them up, allowing them to operate for a number of years, with the goal that after our funding runs out, they're able to continue, right? So we want them to continue to be a resource, albeit folks will have to pay for it, but hopefully, it's up and running and it's a well-oiled machine a couple years down the line. So, our thought was really setting that up first as that foundational resource for the ecosystem, and then looking at where we can inject the dollars to have the biggest impact. So a little over a year ago, we went out with our second opportunity where we were focused on addressing the hardware aspects for 5G. So
Hmm.
specifically radio units. There's really not too many US manufacturers of radio units right now for that 5G ecosystem. So we're looking, or we have invested in a variety of different companies to really try to drive the commercialization of those open and interoperable radio units. And we've asked, we've made awards, we've got some money at work right now. And I think the unique thing that we really focused on with that was requiring these companies to partner with mobile network operators. So the goal is having them go through their really applied research, hardware development efforts with a goal towards actually delivering a radio unit that is ready for commercial deployment or as ready as we can possibly make it. And really trying to drive that commercial adoption of open and interoperable, really trying to increase that supply chain diversity, and trying to get US companies back into the ecosystem.
Love